All right, so I want to give you a little bit of my thoughts on why kettlebell sport isn't really that popular. Now, if you've done it, you know it may be one of the most challenging in many different ways form of weightlifting competitions that there is. Not pitting it against anything else like powerlifting. You're going for max weight. That's it, max strength, nothing else. Olympic lifting, same thing. One rep, max weight. Similar movements, jerk, snatch stuff is kettlebell sport. Um, Strongman, there's a lot of different events, and that's a thing. Like it's very interesting, but more of the highest level of strength involved. Now, kettlebell sport is so different because it is more the strength and work capacity. So think about kind of like the marathon of lifting. Like you don't set the bells down, and there becomes a lot of, not just technique. There's technique in everything that'll make you better at something. The best power lifters have great technique. The best Olympic lifters, great technique. But the thing about kettlebell sport and why I think that it is so not popular, for it being so challenged, being so interesting, is for people that do not do it, they do not see or understand the challenge. Um, so here's the thing. Let's just use kettlebell sport long cycle as an example. That you compete in up to two 32 kilogram weights at the same time, where you clean and jerk them, clean to a rack position, jerk them over your head, and repeat without setting them down for a max time cap of 10 minutes without setting them down. Now, that's at a professional level. Let's just drop down. Let's use two 24 kilogram bells. That's 106 pounds for as many reps of that as you can in 10-minute time cap. Now, why I think it's not that popular is people get bored. Spectators, unless they lift in kettlebell sport, spectators are they're bored. People's attention span, you've already lost this video. Most people have lost this video in 30 seconds. But why I think it's boring, why spectators think that it's boring, is they're not seeing all this action. They have to wait many minutes for something to look challenging. At the beginning in kettlebell sport, it's just like running the marathon. You're not sprinting, okay? You're not going all out at a pace. So at the beginning, the lifting pace is slower. It's all controlled, but it's paced. You don't see struggle. So in the first 30 seconds, minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you're seeing the same thing. Now, as we go farther towards, 7, 8, 9, towards the end of the 10-minute set, that's when you're starting to see people put out their maximum effort, where struggle is happening, where each rep becomes harder and harder and harder, exponentially harder. Same thing with kettlebell snatch. It is, unless you lift, it is incredibly boring to watch unless you love watching technique, because you're seeing hundreds of reps, hundreds of the same thing over and over again. And I've seen people do sets that 10-minute sets that does not even look like they're struggling. Personally, I've done a set that it doesn't even look that hard. So unless you lift, unless you do that discipline, and you know how challenging and how tough it is to appreciate it, it's going to be boring. Like I said, that beginning. So people watching, it's like watching a marathon, watching people run 26 miles, 13 miles, 26 miles. Now, it's interesting because you're seeing them run through a hill at the first mile. You're seeing them run through something different at mile 12. They're challenged. It might be raining. It might be all these different things. The course. Now imagine watching that same thing on a track. Imagine watching someone run and spectating, being a spectator to watch someone run 26 miles around a track and field track. Okay? I mean, it's just not it's not going to be interesting, okay? So, kettlebell sport, what needs to be done? They've been opening up a lot more different things, different disciplines. But also think about this marathon, kettlebell sport marathon for 30 to 60 minutes. Who's watching that unless you're competing in that? You might watch it to congratulate and to promote and to push and to cheerlead that person, the competitors. But people aren't watching that. It's insanely boring. Okay, so what do we have to do? Like, there could be jerk relays. There could be there could heavier things involved. There could be different stuff. It's like why CrossFit got so popular is because there are so many things happening. Strongman, your sport, you're watching an event, and that event changes later. You're seeing, 30 minutes later, you're watching something different. Keg toss. Then you're watching someone doing a heavy press. Then you're doing a heavy carry. All these things. That doesn't happen in kettlebell sport. We have other things. But watching someone do the same thing over and over and over again, if you are not a competitor or someone that is training in that thing, it's not boring. I mean, I'm sorry, it's very boring. It's not interesting. You're not going to seek out traveling to watch these competitions, and it's just not going to get that big. That's my opinion from a person that has done so many competitions, for over 10 years, varying ones. But that's really what it is. I think you're not wowing people. Just like if you look at people watching a TikTok video, or an Instagram video, a reel, seeing, you're literally seeing 30 seconds, and if you're not wowed, you're done. You're moving on. You're watching something else. So imagine watching 10 minutes of kettlebell sport, long cycle, clean and jerk. Yes, people are competing, but you've lost interest, and it's just so hard to watch if you're not someone that does it. So, anyway, that's my thoughts on why I think kettlebell sport just isn't that interesting to watch unless you're in it.